Previously on Loaded Joes MMA. What if, and we'll walk in the hypothetical, what if he's putting on the weight to make that man tired? To lean against that man, to hold that man, to do what he did to Klitschko. What if he does that? What if he damn near does that up until like the latter part of the fight? And he gets Deontay so tired and so off his game, and he's now put on like a little bit. That's what we call weight. Let's call it muscle. Not just like he's throwing on a few extra beer cans into his fucking belly. Like, the man's still trim, to be quite honest. What if he's throwing on extra muscle because he wants to just get a little bit more, gunpowder behind that, them fireworks that are coming off his arms? So that's why I'm leaning toward a later round stoppage, 10 or 11th round, Tyson Fury. If I'm wrong and it goes to the decision, fuck it. It's Tyson Fury. But I am taking Tyson Fury. Give me 10 or 11 round. Not even a KO, but give me a TKO. And what is happening, everybody? It's your boy Blake Money, Blake Weather. Welcome to another episode of Loaded Joes MMA Podcast. I'm your host, Blake Money, Blake Weather. How you doing? Before we get started, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor, UFC Gym Austin, 512-292-1900. Fitness, boxing, MMA, anything you need in that realm, go hit them up. They also now service the Viking Ninja functional training classes. Take a look online, UFC Austin. Go hit them up. Go check out the schedule online. Download the UFC Gym app. Find it. If you are in town, come by, swing by. Let's work out. Let's visit. But yeah, hit them up. 512-292-1900. Right now, today, I got my boy. We had him on for the breakdown. Had to have him on to wrap things up. My friend, your favorite, Mr. Ryan Sprague.
What's going on, man? How are we doing? I know that you're living the good life right now down there.
I mean, it's kind of cold. I don't like it.
Kind of cold. Fuck off. We got like 4 inches yesterday. I don't want to hear it.
Oh no! It just turned like in the 30s, in the high 30s. I'm not a fan of any of this. I need some heat, Ryan Sprague.
Yeah, it's one of those things. But what can you do? We still live in the northern hemisphere. Shit's gonna get cold. It's gonna happen.
I wish it just kind of stayed like the one temperature all year long. But I digress. Ryan Sprague, I invited you here for a reason, and not to talk about the goddamn weather.
No, it's a fucking gloat, you asshole. I see you.
This weekend, we kind of had like this boxing fight, right? There was this thing, the Deontay Wilder kid and this Tyson Fury guy. They have rematch. I don't know if you watched it or anything. But if you didn't, if you lived under a goddamn rock, me and Ryan broke it down. Had an awesome article written about it. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, we do that. That's what we do.
You treat your boo so kindly, Ryan. Tyson Fury. Is it KO? Did they count as a KO or TKO?
I want to say it was a TKO, right? Yeah, because it was the towel was thrown in.
TKO round 7. Towel thrown in. And the aftermath sets in. I'm not going to say I was right because I got the round wrong. But I might have been right, Ryan.
We're more right than I was. I'll give you that. That's okay. That's why we have these discussions, man. People are allowed to be wrong. It happens. I mean, shit. Some of the best talking heads in professional sports are wrong frequently. Is that a fucking Mick Ultra?
Yeah, man. It is a Mick Ultra. I was feeling a little Mickey light tonight. You know, man. And I ain't talking about McDonald's. I'm talking a little Mickey Ultra light.
Well, I don't think you're eating McDonald's unless you're getting that fillet of fish. Otherwise, your grandma's gonna be pissed.
I didn't get my ashes today, so she gave me
Neither
a little.
Did I know your grandma's gonna be mad at me for that one.
Yeah,
too.
she gave me a little side eye. I was like, "Grandma, calm down. You would settle this outside." I've been watching that Tyson Fury fight. We could settle this outside, Grandma.
Or on the inside, apparently. I don't know.
Hey, bro, you don't want to pee. I train UFC, bro. That's me to my grandma. Hey, I train UFC, bro. You don't want these problems. But But yeah, man. First off, your thoughts. Where were you watching the fight, and as the fight played out, and then now, what your post thoughts are?
Well, I mean, it's not an insult to say that a boxer got beaten, and in a very one-sided fight. I don't think that's a shot against Deontay. I mean, you can go back and watch footage, and even the most basic of boxing fans could see that was very lopsided. And that's not to take anything away from Tyson Fury. I mean, he went out there and he did that damn thing. I expected a little bit more from Deontay Wilder. He got frustrated. This was clearly a different fight from the first fight. Mm-hmm. And, this is the first career loss for somebody who has still a very long future in heavyweight boxing ahead of him. So long as he can let this just play out and go. He wants to invoke that third fight, which was part of a contract, and everybody needs to understand how sports contracts work. This shit was in there the second they signed for the rematch. It was there the second they signed for the first fight.
Yeah.
Regardless of the outcome, especially with the way that this went down, that you were going to end up seeing part 2. I didn't know that we'd see a part 3. I think that as far as contracts are concerned, you had to know, regardless of the outcome, that the person on the losing side of this was going to invoke that third fight. I just think that right now Tyson Fury has all the cards in his favor moving forward. And while we have seen all of the excuses and we've kind of shot at every one of those excuses, it doesn't take away from the fighter that Deontay Wilder is, still will be moving forward. And I think that it kind of makes the sport of boxing a little bit more fun again, right? At least in heavyweight boxing.
I definitely think, yeah. Well, so let me go where I was, and then we'll get to where we are now. I had the fight last minute at the house, ordered it. I was gonna do what the kids call stream it, but I got new TV and it wasn't connected to my laptop, so we did it the old-fashioned way. We bought the old PPV everybody threw in. And we bought it on the co-main event, during the Gerald Washington and Chris Martin fight.
It's a great fight, by the way. What a great eliminator in the heavyweight division.
Yeah. And I mean, both those guys, have been beaten by the upper echelon, though. Whether it's Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua, whatever. But it's good to have some elimination fights to for whatever belts it's going in. But, yeah, so we had the fight, we ordered it, and Jesus Christ, the walk-ins, the walkouts, oh my God, do you know what, this was so I'll fast forward, so we watched the fight, I was very nervous when the fight started, and then, of course, as soon as I see Tyson doing what he needs to do, I'm clapping at the end of the round. He's coming forward. He's jabbing forward, going behind the 1-2, rolling behind the shoulder every time Deontay's throwing that heavy right. And he's just like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God, he's doing exactly what he said he's doing. He need to walk him down. He's walking him down. He's making Deontay work off his back foot for 90% of this first round. And then the second round looked a whole lot like it. And then when that fucking knockdown came through, boy, your boy was, you know how I get. Man, I was cheering my ass off.
Yeah, I mean, Wilder looked shook. There's no two ways about it.
Shook it to his core, man. But, still in the back of my mind, even as the rounds went on, and even as I was clapping for Tyson, and even as I saw, Deontay, blood coming off his, from his mouth, his lip, and, his face looked just beat up and blood coming down his ear, I still said, man, this man, I can't celebrate too early. He's still got that right hand, but it just never came, and the fight went. Tyson did a lot of the things I thought he was going to do, and then surprised me by doing the knockdown things. Right, I didn't expect him to get knockdowns like that. I think that was the most surprising thing. And instead of doing the 1-2 that he did in the first fight, a lot of this was a 1 and it was a 3 over. It was a hook. And just by making little adjustments, going forward, throwing the hook, gaining the weight, right? Like, I saw Deontay gain weight, and I saw Tyson gain weight. And, Frank from UFC Gym, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I saw him the day before. I saw him the day of the fight. And when I told him, he was like, he was going for Wilder already. He's like, I was going Wilder already. I'm going to go from a little bit more. I saw Fury gain that weight. And I'm like, yeah, but Fury fought the first fight like 10 pounds less than that. Like, he's just... Since the first fight, or no, the first fight was 1054. I'm sorry. When he fought Schwartz, he was 1063, and I was like, bro, he was 1063, and when he back in June, like, and we saw how well he moved. I'm like, what's another 10 pounds on top of that on that frame, man? Like, I'm like, what I'm more concerned with is Deontay. Like, that man gained more weight, and like, of course, it's muscle and everything, but I'm like, bro, like, I was like, Frank, like, how like he might have gained that weight, but like when has he fought with that weight? What does he know about himself just gaining that much weight? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how he's probably doing it for power, but how does he move and how is he gonna adjust? Like, I don't know, man. Like that actually worried me. I wish I would have put that on wax because a lot of people were all concerned with Fury weight gain. I wasn't concerned with it. But yeah, man, all that to say, all that went into my head as I'm watching this just bomb deconstruction and demolition of a fire. I didn't expect it to go like that on that sense, but the inside game, I did expect Fury to do a lot of the inside tactics and a bit of dirty boxing and the holds, the way he did them and stuff. Just wear out the motherfucker. You know what I mean? That's what I said. Just wear him out with that size, man. If you're going to put on size, do it. And he used it in the right way. We found a lot out about his camp choice. There was a lot of stuff I didn't know about. I know Emmanuel Stewart's a great trainer. I know he'd worked with Andy Lee. I know he'd worked with Emmanuel Stewart's nephew. But like, I didn't realize they were like this type of known offensive gym that's known for knocking motherfuckers out. You know what I mean? So right. that everything all encapsulated. Like, yeah, man. We here now. We realize. We realize what the fuck we have to deal with now going forward in the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
and again, I'll tip my hat to Tyson Fury, and I never have a problem doing that. He came out, and normally when you end up getting trounced, I don't want to say trounced. It wasn't trounced. Obviously, the fight ended up going to a split draw. But when you take a vicious hit, the way that Tyson Fury took a vicious hit, you got to think, man, he's got to be playing off his back foot a little bit. He's got to be worried about that right. A lot of times people in round two or the part two come out a little slower. The same way that Anthony Joshua did against Andy Ruiz Jr. He fought a smarter fight. He didn't fight as an aggressive fight the second time around, but he went and got that decision, and it was pretty one-sided on that one. So you had to think, we're looking at heavyweight belts, we're looking at unifying the belts, and you want to think that you're going to take a cue from that fight between Joshua Ruiz part two, and it was flipped upside down completely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this whole thing flipped right upside down, man. Like, I mean, not for me. Like, I was, again, had faith in my guy, held faith that Fury would get it done. But I didn't realize how real it was going to be till the moment happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And
it's one thing for us to, like, we were talking about it, like, last, well, what could happen and what's the best for the sport and yada, yada. But, like, when the motherfucker happened, you're like, holy shit. Fury Joshua is like now real. Unification in talks is now real. Like, there's no controversy now. Like, we now have clear established, like, this is the best guy, this is the next best guy, this is the next best guy type thing.
We do and we don't. Because again, we have that contract that says we're going to get part three. And of course, Tyson Fury holds all of the cards here. It's a matter of when they want to have it. Does Tyson Fury want to have another fight before he goes up part three against Deontay Wilder? I know that Deontay Wilder was saying that they were looking somewhere around summer for part three.
Yeah.
I think that's a lofty goal. I don't dislike it. I think that the performance that you put on makes it a little bit more difficult for the boxing fans around the world to want to get behind it. And I don't think that that's a shot at anyone for saying it that way.
Yeah, no, not at all. I get it. And I think a lofty goal. What would you say? You said lofty goal for summer. What would you say would be good summertime?
I think it has to be fall. And
you have to be fall?
It's gonna be a tough fight. It's gonna be a tough sell, and here's why. You're coming off a very lopsided loss, the first loss of your career. In the meantime, Tyson Fury is going to want to probably get another fight in. He's going to want to milk that cash cow. He was talking before this fight happened. I only have X amount of fights left on my deal. He's talking retirement. Everybody's thinking this is placating into, okay, well, this is just ripe for this man to fall. Well, now it's not going to happen. And now you have people saying, well, we can get the Anthony Joshua fight and we can have that happen right now. Tyson Fury's manager. No, we're already looking to fighting Anthony Joshua. And I'm pretty sure they're looking at that being in England. And I have no problem with that, considering they're both English. It would have been a different story had Deontay Wilder ended up winning that fight, but he didn't. So this is the reality of the sport as it exists in real time. So with that in mind, I think that Deontay Wilder needs to really find a way to get the boxing community, get his team, and get Tyson Fury's team on the same page. And you and I both know what that means, right? So let's talk about what being on the same page means for a part 3, where the first one ended up going the distance. The second one ended with a lopsided fight. It means that, as far as sports is concerned, Tyson Fury is going to take home the larger percentage of the purse. That's what this all means. Everything else doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if Tyson Fury wants to have it in England. Doesn't matter if Deontay Wilder wants to have it back in Vegas. It doesn't matter if this wants to happen in summer, if this is going to happen in fall. What it matters is, and what these two sides are going to look at, and not anything else, is who's taking home the majority of this purse.
Right. So
that's what prize fighting is.
So this is my understanding of how the layout is spread right now. And if you're a boxing fan, you kind of know this. If this is, news to you, then this is going to be news to you. Sit down, get a fucking notepad. Let's jot down some notes real quick. So here's how the layout is. Since the fight, Deontay Wilder has 30 days to enact the rematch clause. Right? What's currently going on right now is discussions with Pulev and Joshua. They want to sign that in the next few days, if not the next few weeks. Eddie Hearn keeps saying that. Well, they'd like to hold off and figure out, first of all, I think they're getting a little pressure from Top Rank to sign Pulev, who's, Top Rank has Pulev and Top Rank has Fury. So what's happening is I think they're getting a little pressure from Top Rank, hey, we want to get Pulev this fight, let's just try and get him matched up. While they're waiting for Deontay Wilder to make his mind up, is he going to reenact it? The word is he's going to reenact it. You hear, his coaches, I think his wife, put something on Instagram or something like that, we're coming back for it or something. So there's a lot of insinuation that says Deontay Wilder is going to enact the rematch clause. And if that's the case, what we see right around probably the similar time between May, let's call it May to first week of August. Between that time, we're going to see Anthony Joshua and Pulev, and between that time, we'd see Wilder and Fury. Now, what Eddie Hearn is saying is they do not make this fight in fall. Do not make this rematch of Wilder and Fury in the fall. And here's the reason why. I believe it's. I'm trying to remember what belt it is. It might be the WBO. It's one of the belts that, and it's either WBO, maybe IBF. One of the belts that Anthony Joshua has, they have a contender awaiting in the wings. It's Dillian White.
Yes.
Dillian White is awaiting in the wings right now, and he is the mandatory challenger for one of those belts, and I forget which one it is. I want to say WBO, WBA, but I could be wrong. Anyways, he's the mandatory challenger, and they have pushed the date for the fight of when they have to fight him if Anthony Joshua wants to hang on to the belt to February of next year. He has to fight it by then, or he has to give it up. So if he was saying if they make that fight like September, October, like that's not going to give Joshua enough time to prepare for Dillian White. So he's saying what hypothetically they could do is if they have it no later than say first week of August, they could have a fight in, November. Like they would just be preparing the whole time for whoever the winner is of Wilder Fury, and they'd expect. I think everybody expects it to be Fury at this point.
That's a solid guess at that point.
Right. Yeah. So let's hope that this fight happens in. I mean, there's not big boxing fights in July. They're always in June or August.
Right.
And
August, and typically right before the start of the NFL regular season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't think of the last big boxing fight that was in July. You know what I always think of when I think of July in combat sports? UFC. UFC always has their big.
Well, because that's International Fight Week.
That's right.
So it's not to. I want to backtrack a little bit and go play off of what you were saying earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem that happened when Anthony Joshua beat Andy Ruiz Jr. to reclaim the 3 belts, and I don't know if you were watching this on the sports ticker, you were following it in the boxing community. Not even a week went by, and we start to hear Anthony Joshua is at a risk of losing one of his belts.
Mm-hmm.
Because immediately, it wasn't just one. It was 2 mandatory number 1 competitors fighting for 2 different belts, and they were saying that the time that they were going to give him to fight for both of these belts wasn't going to be enough time to schedule, train, fight one, then schedule, train, fight another. So once he ended up winning that fight back from Andy Ruiz Jr., one of those 3 belts was already in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, and you can help us clarify this, maybe Tyson Fury winning this fight saved Joshua from losing one of those 3 belts.
It does because, and it wouldn't have mattered who, I mean, in belt terms, it wouldn't have mattered who won this fight. You needed a clear winner. Because what happens at that point is when you have the 3 big belts, the IBF, WBO, and WBA, and you have a person awaiting in the wings, a contender, a challenger for one of those belts. What ends up happening is if you claim that you are fighting to unify all 4 of the main belts, it's like poker. Unification comes before a mandatory challenger.
Right.
So that's why they really want to book this fight. And Eddie Hearn's big deal with this. And if people don't know Eddie Hearn is the promoter he is the equivalent of Bob Arum to Tyson Fury. He's the equivalent of De La Hoya to Canelo. He is that. Oh,
and Ryan Garcia. And Ryan Garcia.
And your lovely Ryan Garcia. He is the equivalent to that.
That man's a god. You watch your tongue, sir. All right.
He's the equivalent.
He's a 20-something, young 20-something, clearly never been hit in the face, freaking model of a god boxer.
All right. Well, tell him to fight Devin Haney, and we'll talk. But, so what's it saying? Yes. So he is that equivalent to Anthony Joshua. He's Anthony Joshua's promoter. And their big deal, their big thing that they want is to have the fight in the UK, which I think will be amazingly, stupidly huge in the UK. Like, if they're going to do that at nighttime in the UK, it scares me to think of, are people going to even watch it over here or be aware? Like, they're going to be aware of fights. So, when Anthony Joshua fought, a lot of people thought it was at night. because he fought halfway across the world and he fought in DAZN in the fucking afternoon.
Yep, he did.
And a lot of people saw it, but like after the fact. And and then you could just read your fucking Yahoo News or, ask fucking Alexa who the fuck won the fight on your little Amazon machine or whatever the fuck, and fucking Alexa tell you, who the fuck the winner was. You don't even have to watch it. So it scares me, and I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I was wrong about the Klitschko Joshua fight. Like the world stopped on that fucking day. I remember that it was like a weekend in April. It was like April 20th or some 2016 or some shit. Like the world like kind of paused and like waited, like what the fuck is gonna happen? You know what I mean? And yeah, damn, it was that long ago, huh? Like
yes, it was
2000. Yeah, like shit. Man, like that time be passing, bro. It's gonna be 4 years in fucking April, bro. I'm getting old. But yeah, unification trumps mandatory challenges. So they're hoping that by fighting Pulev, that they subside that mandatory that belt right there. And the Dillian White thing is a whole bunch of fucking bullshit. Like they've found like they thought he was on drugs, and then they're like, no, but maybe you are, and your head suspension just happens. You can happen to fight as early as February 2021. Ironic, isn't it, that sanctioning body gives you that time limit? It's a little fishy. It's a little fucking fishy when you start to peep around the fucking bushes and really see what the hell is going on. But anyways, Eddie Hearn's out here talking to all the fucking media he can get his hands on. Ariel Helwani, fucking whatever, anybody that can fucking listen. He really wants a Joshua fight. And I'm going to throw a little curveball in here that kind of got brought up. The people of Saudi Arabia, that's where the fight, they threw the fight, the Andy Ruiz and Joshua rematch. They basically paid for that whole thing. They paid for it to be there and everything. These motherfuckers made bank. Apparently, one of the princes of there was a prince of Saudi Arabia talking to what's this motherfucker's name? Bob Warren, I believe, who's an important dude in like Top Rank, I believe. Which
yes, he is.
I don't know if he's like the president or whatever, or like some mouthpiece or whatever, but like he's pretty high up in the Top Rank organization. And these motherfuckers, that's Fury's people, right? So this is the curveball that could happen potentially. Let's talk a little conspiracy real quick, because a lot of people won't. What if this prince and whatever company that they have, whatever, just kind of throws a little kind of 1-2 piece over Wilder's way. Say, hey Wilder, why don't you shut the fuck up for a little bit? Here's some money. Shut the fuck up. Let's have the world's biggest heavyweight fight that even bigger than yours. And if that's bigger than yours, then that means it's bigger than the last ones that we've seen in the last 20 years, 30 years. Like Joshua Fury will be huge. And let's have it over here. Right? That's the biggest curveball out of here that could kind of detract that from happening. Realistically though, you're Wilder, you reenact it. You enact the clause. You aim for the last week of June, maybe the last week of July. And then hope nobody gets seriously hurt, and then aim to fight in November. You aim to fight Joshua in November.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that so long as we don't see all of these governing bodies come in and try and fuck this all up, right?
Right. That's another curveball.
But then here's the other thing that happens, because we know how contracts work in boxing. If you end up seeing Tyson Fury fight Anthony Joshua in that same contract that exists between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, you start to see this concept of having, that run it back clause. And it hams up the division immensely. I'm not saying that there's anyone outside of your Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, that really – I'll even throw Andy Ruiz Jr. in there, because the motherfucker held 3 belts. You end up hamming up the division, because now you have this new blood, these mandatory challengers, and the unification bout and all of that. It's a big clusterfuck of an equation, and all that boxing is trying to do is capitalize on that equation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think at this rate, if all four of the boxing communities had it their way, WBO, the WBC, WBA, the IBF, if they had it their way, they'd never unify these belts.
Really?
Because what does it do? It potentially makes one worth more than the other. You know, I don't even think Tyson unified all four of those belts, did he?
No.
So, you know, who did Klitschko? I don't think Klitschko did either. Maybe Lennox Lewis did.
No, I don't think Klitschko did because his brother had the other one.
So
and they never fought each other.
so maybe Lennox Lewis?
I think Lennox Lewis was the last. Let's take a look. Let's ask the old Google machine.
But in the interest of while you're looking that up, you know, and what happened from the outcome of the Lennox Lewis stuff, right? So as far as heavyweight boxing is concerned, it almost seems like financially speaking, their best bet is to never unify these.
That would be. I mean, that's this. We're getting down some deep, dark rabbit holes.
I hate to be the person that's working down those deep, dark rabbit holes, but it's not too hard to put that one out there. You know, I mean, Jesus Christ, like we said, a week and a half after Anthony Joshua got those 3 belts back, they started to say that he was at risk of losing one of them because of mandatory challengers. Shit, man. But he just won them back.
Yeah,
let him enjoy him.
Let the man hold them. So actually, let's stand corrected real quick. Let's scratch the note. Mike Tyson became undisputed champion in August 1st, 1987. But here's the caveat with that. The 3 belts that were necessary to be undisputed at the time were WBC, WBA, and IBF.
Floyd never held all 4 belts at the same time.
No, he didn't.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. What do we learn? If Floyd didn't do it, it hadn't been done. I'm waiting for the Coming to America remake where the same boxing thing is done and everyone's arguing about Floyd, and that's it.
No, Floyd did not, man. You know who did, though? Who he beat was Zab Judah.
Yes, you're right. But again, if I'm here to tell you, everyone's talking about the Coming to America remake.
Oh yeah,
and everyone can't wait for it. I'm like, I want to hear them talk the same boxing shop talk, but just about Floyd Mayweather. That whole scene needs to be about Floyd Mayweather. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
Say, oh yeah, he fought that Irishman too, right? Yeah, that fucking gorilla Connor motherfucker. You know?
Yeah. No. It's exactly like that. But also, in this case, we're dealing with a different. So Lennox Lewis was actually the last one. Hold those 3 belts, and no one since then has had like all 4 belts.
You can't see me, but I'm dancing over here because I didn't have to look that motherfucker up to know it was true.
Well, I'm happy you called him out because in my head I'm like, yeah, Lennox Lewis was because, yeah, motherfucker lost him and then, WBC. No. Yeah, he lost him and then, whatever happened, man. They all got split up. WBC has kind of gone a different way and then WBA, and then there was a WBO. It's kind of a more recent thing. But anyways, we haven't had one since Lennox Lewis, to be quite honest. However, through parentage, and nobody's really brought up this point, our man Tyson Fury has technically had all 4 belts.
Yeah.
If you think about it, he beat Klitschko. He got the WBO, WBA, and the IBF.
Mm-hmm.
And now he has the WBC. So technically,
and lineal, and
the ring champion. Like, so kind of in a way, if you put 1 plus 2, we kind of got 3. But no.
God damn it, we need to see all fucking 4 belts unified, motherfucker. Tired of this. I'm sorry. This is where boxing loses fans.
Y'all play too much, and that's why y'all ain't got no fans. Y'all play too much. Y'all motherfuckers play too much, and then look at y'all fuck up on fights. I think this year we're gonna get some badass fights. I think we can put kind of a nail in the coffin of the whole boxing is dead talk.
Right. It's not. It's back. It never went anywhere. It just kind of came to a group discussion and said, so these guys want to talk about how, they don't follow boxing anymore? Good. Fuck them. We don't need them. That's what the sport of boxing did in so many words.
Yeah. And we've had some baddest fights, and then you have things like this where the heavyweight division it makes people excited again. And these three names too, no matter what Wilder chooses to do from this fight, he really needs to stop making excuses. Because I will say, as far as talent goes and stuff like that, he may not be. And I think we had this talk before the thing. I think people are throwing the term you're not really a boxer, or you're just a fighter, or they put all these terminologies. I'm going to call out your boy in Austin. I'm going to do it right now. Trayvon Mazian, who's a golden boy fighter, right? He just had a very dominant performance, winning the NABF championship out there, probably about a month and a half ago. Okay.
Solid fight. Did very well. He's an Austin-based fighter. I believe he technically trains in maybe Mississippi. I could be wrong on that. He even went and said, all respect to Deontay Wilder, but, this is what happens when you fight a boxer. I'm like, motherfucker, he won 42 fights, 41 of them knockouts, and then went to a draw and then lost. You're not the WBC heavyweight champion of the world with that many title defenses without being a boxer. Watch yourself.
And I see where he's coming from, but the term boxer, you are a boxer by trade, right? So I'll say this: I've heard a lot of sports analysts. I started a lot of sports analysts. I think even Teddy Atlas said something like that. Well, here's what Teddy Atlas and Eddie Hearn basically say about Deontay Wilder. He's not that good. He's not that good. He's just not that good. He's got the one trick, and the one trick worked. Hey man, it worked for Ronda Rousey until it didn't. You know what I mean? Bro, just because you can do that one trick over and over again, it doesn't mean you're really, really that good. It just means nobody's figured it out yet. And there's going to be a matter of time when the game evolves around what the fuck you keep doing, and somebody can make that game work. Make those holes that you have, just expose them even more. And it's up to you to change it to the game. It's up to you to make yourself better. It's up to you to adjust for the long, if you want to be around for a while. And
you know what? I give you that. But the whole idea that, he's been figured out, he's done kind of thing, put that shit to bed.
Honestly.
Alex got figured out.
Yeah.
Price got figured out. Lennox Lewis got figured out. Vladimir Klitschko got figured out. Fucking all of these, Anthony Joshua got figured out. How far back do we have to go in heavyweight boxing alone? Just the heavyweight.
Right.
To find people who were undisputed, nobody was going to question them until they fucking lost.
Rocky Marciano.
There you go. Oh, there we go. Every time I talk about boxing, some white boy got to pull Rocky Marciano out of that.
He was undefeated.
Beat Joe Lewis's ass.
He won all of his fights, is all I'm saying.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you mean 72-year-old Joe Louis?
76 years old. Yeah, Frank Sinatra came in here. He sat him right down in his chair. I asked him, hey, you hang with Joe Louis. Between you and me, how old Joe Louis? He looked at me and said, Joe Louis is 137 years old.
Yes, that. But, yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, this can be the vast majority of your boxing conversation. Anytime you want to have a conversation, just revert back to Coming to America, and you're going to sound educated.
You'll sound like you know it all. Or it'll at least still be relevant to the conversation. Yeah. But yeah, man, I don't think Deontay Wilder's shot or anything like that. Dude, there's so many good fights fighters that he could fight that are we'll call them like out of fuck what belt you're trying to vie for or be in a mandatory contendership for. Dude, like there's some good fights out there that are still like exciting that he can still beat these guys. You know what I mean? Like if we just look at a few names like Ruiz, I mean he's already beat Ortiz.
Dillian White.
Dillian White's out there. That one's tough. I mean, of course, there's Joseph Parker if he's still doing the damn thing at heavyweight, as I know he kind of stepped up a fight or two before he fought Anthony Joshua. I mean, there's Pulev. There's God damn it, dude. I'm trying to think of some of these other guys that are like up and kind of trying to make their mark or have been around. Pavechkin.
That's going to be a great fight.
Yeah. I mean, like there's I don't say winnable fights or give me fights, but there are fights that are exciting that are like, dude, you can't count Deontay Wilder in this fight because these guys can be knocked out or they've been beaten before. And if you've been beaten before, there's a guy out there with the right hand that's looking to come for you. You know what I mean? So there are still like some viable fights at heavyweight that people are going to pay attention and watch Deontay Wilder. I don't think he shot. What I was scared of, though, as we kind of come full circle and come closer to the end, what I was a little worried with was what kind of damage did he sustain from this that just wasn't necessary. You know what I mean? Like and one thing I hate that they do in boxing is they talk to the fucking fighter after the fight, bro. That he did not sound like he sounded a half beat off.
Well, he had 7 stitches in his ear.
Yeah, but this was before all that. This was right after the fight. Like this is the reason that Joe Rogan doesn't talk to concussed fighters because the motherfucker's just not all there, dude.
Yeah,
it did not. It was, dude. It made me feel really bad, and I was like, I hope I'm talking drunk right now. I remember telling people this. I hope I'm talking drunk right now. But is everybody kind of here? He's kind of a half beat off of where he started, like yesterday's interviews and shit like that. Like he's just a half beat off, and I get it. Like he just got off a fight. What I hope that hasn't happened is that half beat stays with him. You know what I mean? This is heavyweight, bro. Like we expect all of them to be tough guys and everything like that, but like. And it wasn't like, oh, the motherfucker like died in the ring and like got hit so hard he like flipped out or whatever, but like he just took kind of unnecessary damage. Like more like it could have ended that fight a round early. Like, yeah, he ate it, but he's still probably got what he had before he walked in the ring. Like he could still knock out guys. So I don't completely write him off.
He can still knock out Fury in the rematch, ladies and gentlemen. Don't count that shit out either. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm saying that if this rematch does happen, if that clause is invoked sooner rather than later, that he has some stuff that he has to overcome. But don't think that because Fury, I'll go ahead and say it, embarrassed him this fight. Don't think that that's going to happen in part 3.
It could. It could. We didn't expect it to happen like this in part 2. Like,
it's true.
It just could. It could, man. Like, out of the 19 rounds that they fought, man, arguably, Tyson Fury won 17 of them. You know what I mean? Like, arguably. So it's percentage-wise, like, you look at the skill. Like, some guys just got your number, bro. Some guys just got your number. And once they realize it, like, they're going to come at you. This might not be the fight that Deontay Wilder's ever going to win, but that doesn't never mean he's never going to win a fight. You know what I mean? Man, just so much to think about this and unpack because of. Listen, man, I'm trying to be as PC as possible, kind of, but like, bro, I've been hanging on to Deontay Wilder. Fanists. I don't want to call them fanboys or dick riders or anything. Just people who enjoy them some Deontay Wilder.
Right.
But a lot of them ain't true students of the game, and even some of them are, right? But like, just there were signs there that people didn't pay attention to. And if you just listen, if you listen over the highlights playing in the background of Deontay Wilder knocking out all those people, you just kind of listen to the little things going on. If you see it, kind of, you're like, okay, there's some. I'm gonna make the smart decision right here. I'm gonna make this decision. We all know who the. And a lot of people are like, I know who the better boxer is, but I'm gonna go with the guy that's gonna knock out the other. A lot of people fed it to this hype, and I've been dealing with this 15 months, man. I got a lot to say. 15 months of fucking Deontay motherfucker saying he could knock out the world if he wanted to. And he probably might could if he had a good swing. If he had a good enough swing, he could probably knock the world into a different orbit. But the thing is, you got to get in position to be able to do that. And you got to have the skills that lets you do that. And Tyson Fury, man, for my money, bro, I've been saying this. I think Tyson Fury could beat Ali. That's for my money. That's for my money, man.
Well, I thought nobody was happier in the world that Tyson Fury won this fight, other than you, until I thought, shit, that's right, fucking Tyson's in there.
Yeah, Mike Tyson was.
you were the second happiest person, Blake Blakeweather, that Tyson Fury won this fight.
Yes, I was extremely fucking happy. It was probably his dad who argued with David Haye, and he tried to bet him $50,000 that Tyson Fury was going to knock out Deontay Wilder on this little BT Sport, like around the kind of ring debate. It was him, David Haye, Paulie Malignaggi, and then I forget who the commentator who does boxing in fucking UK, but he was on there from Sky Sports, and three of them. John, Paulie, and the other commentator dude. I think David. No, it wasn't Dave. Steve or some shit like that. They all had Tyson Fury.
Was it Steve Avery?
I don't remember. Maybe. Is he a British dude? Is an old British guy?
I think so. While we can continue while we're doing this.
Yes. But anyways, David Haye was the only one going for Deontay, and John Fury insisted his son was going to knock out, was going to walk him down, was going to bully him, and was going to knock out Deontay Wilder. He's like, I know what my son's going to do. I've seen Deontay. He's a bully. Can't take it. And you know what, man? Sometimes with those bully fighters, if you do that to them, if you have the strength to do it, again, you got their number right there. And I'm not saying every single fighter can do this. Just because it's a game plan for one fighter, it don't mean it's going to work for you. You know what I mean? Just because when Ronda Rousey got head kicked, that don't mean it's going to work for Amanda Nunes. You know what I'm saying? She had to get in there with her own weapons and figure out how to dismantle her. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, I'm so fucking happy. I get to tell the haters that they were wrong in the first place. I get to tell them that the better boxer, not a non-boxer, but just the better boxer, the more skilled guy, skills prevailed as it should have. And you know what? Since the days of Floyd Mayweather, the world of boxing is now in balance.
for at least Blake Stevenson. No, I'm moving. But anyway, so you know what? We've talked about this. We've gone on and on and on. Blake Stevenson, what's next? Are we seeing the rematch before we're seeing an Anthony Joshua fight? Because I think we are. I think we have to. I think that right now Anthony Joshua holds all the cards in this and says, you two motherfuckers battle it out one more time. I got to see it, you know?
No, Joshua doesn't have any cards in this. It's Wilder. It's all comes down to what Wilder wants to do. And of course, fight contracts go two ways. And so Fury would have to sign it, I guess, but like it's a rematch clause, so I guess he kind. I don't know how that works. If you have to take it, if like one guy's like, I lost, I wanted to do this, we have to do this, right? I'm just assuming under my simple-minded ideas of how this contract works is if Wilder enacts that thing, they have to fight, and they're gonna fight they have to fight by summer. I know Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn are trying to work out the details of what could happen down the line. But what's realistically to me, I think is going to happen, Wilder signs on for a third. We see a third in the summer. Fury wins. Might be a little bit closer. Might just be a normal ass decision, but he wins. And then we see Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury in the fall. It doesn't matter what Eddie Hearn, what Anthony Joshua want in this very moment. The man who had actually all the cards is Deontay Wilder. And what Eddie Hearn keeps saying, this motherfucker, God, I love him and I hate him at the same fucking time. He's going around bragging about what the purse will be when they fight Tyson Fury, and he keeps insisting it's going to be a 60-40 split. So that could be another hang-up, but we'll see what happens. But that's my prediction, is that fight will happen, and that we'll get both those fights this year.
Okay. I don't hate on that.
What do you think, Mr. Ryan Sprague, as we about to part ways here?
I tend to agree with you on that. I agree that you're going to end up seeing part 3 before we see Anthony Joshua. In the meantime, Anthony Joshua can't stay his ass inactive. That's for damn sure. And I think you're right now that you look at it just in the way that boxing is. You got to have this fight towards the end of summer. You know, like we said, we've seen a lot of big boxing matches happen right before the start of the NFL season. And I think that's what we're going to end up seeing. And as far as the outcome is concerned, man, I don't know what tricks Deontay Wilder might have up his sleeve if he has any left. And, you know, I don't know if a win for Deontay Wilder fucks all of this up of unification is concerned. Because then, Jesus, then what do you fucking do? Normally you have fighter wins fight 1 in a blood match, fighter wins fight 2 in a blood match. Third fight kind of solidifies it. It's the rubber match. Well, right now this isn't a rubber match. This is a fight to get back to being a rubber match. Then you need a fucking 4th fight and a 7th fight, and it turns into the goddamn World Series. It's never ending. We're never going to see a unification bout. As long as I live, it's not going to happen.
Man,
I just threw a temper tantrum there.
I do know that Anthony Joshua is going to fight by summertime. He's either going to fight Pulev or Fury. That like it's Pulev's on one side of a mandatory challenger, I think, and then of course Fury being the title holder for the WBC. So he will be fighting soon. They're talking about I think he said like a May date maybe. So. Let's look out for that. Let's see what happens, folks.
I think we exhausted everything in this one. And if nothing else, we exhausted your ability to gloat more than anything else.
I just wanted to come on all the haters.
All right, I see you. We're good. We good.
Ryan Sprague, thank you for coming on and letting me talk some shit. Where can people find you and find your beautiful works of art? We call them writing in the MMA world. Where can people find them?
That's what they call it. And like we said, we talked last time. You're predominantly going to find all my work on mymmanews.com, all the stuff that's going on over there with the likes of Eric Kowal and all the writers over there, which I think they might be looking for maybe somebody else who wants to put a little bit more into boxing. Blake. If you're interested, you know.
We'll see. I might know a guy who knows some stuff.
There you go. So, yeah, man, just you look out for my stuff on mymmanews.com. I mean, yeah, you can find me on Facebook. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. But, you know, if you're really trying to get at me, man, just follow all my shit on mymmanews.com.
Love it. Everybody go follow Ryan Sprague on Twitter, Facebook. Not yet on Instagram. We still got to get your sexy ass on Instagram, don't we?
Yeah, Lou's going to get pissed at me. I've been dragging my feet on that one. It's so hard. So many social media platforms, and I'm at a point where like I have people adding me on Facebook. I'm like, wait, I've actually met this person. This is a new one. All right. Now, and people halfway across the world that are following me because they read an article. I'm like, hi, what's up? And they're speaking to me and things I don't know what they're saying. Cool. But
welcome to my world.
Right?
Yeah, man, it is a lot to keep up with as far as social media goes, and then it's not easy, Brian, but somebody's got to do it around these parts. I'll tell you what. But yes, everybody go follow me, Money Blake Weather, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. You can follow the show, The Loaded Joes MMA Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And you can also follow it on the Unfiltered Bachelor podcast channel. Look up Unfiltered Bachelor. You'll see all the Loaded Joe segments every week, every time we put out an episode. If you like the way I talk about here some good old MMA, and you ever want to hear about some good old life stories, you can check out the rest of the Unfiltered Bachelor episodes. That's me, my world. What do I do outside of MMA? I do have a real life. So feel free to follow all of that. Ryan Sprague, thank you so much for coming on, man. Let me talk some shit, but also talking shit with boxing with me. Now that we kind of have, we've had a few days, we let everything play out, and we kind of get to see what the landscape, the way it's going and what it's going to be. And I love how we didn't even have to bring up the excuses of Deontay Wilder. We just kind of kept it strictly to the game. We ain't got to talk about no 45-pound transformer suits, or if your coach is working with this dude, working with that dude, or whatever. We kept it. Hey, we can stuck by the facts.
It's all it's all there. You can find it if you want it, but you know what? You're not going to hear us regurgitate the same information over and over again.
We gave our own trusted opinions. Thank y'all for tuning into it. Follow me, Ryan, and the show. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time you listen to this. And until the next time, we'll see ya. Peace.